so good to see you. This is a special edition of 78621, and we're really looking forward to telling people all about ESD number 3.
That's right. It's good to see you too. And yeah, we've got a lot of information to give everybody so they'll know what's coming up and what is going on right now.
Excellent. Well, my name is Stacey at Ford Osborne. I am the acting community services director and public information officer for the City of Elgin, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Mayor Theresa McShan, and we're here to tell you all about the potential annexation of the City of Elgin into the Bastrop County Emergency Services District number 3. So, Mayor, why don't we start out by telling people all about the services district? What is it all about, and when did it come into existence, and why does it matter?
So I think many of our residents already know that back in July of last year that or really June of last year, we opted out to be a member of the ESD number 3 that was being created at that time. And unfortunately, we didn't have a great deal of information. A lot of our questions were not able to be answered. And the council felt like it was detrimental that we know more than what we did before we would vote to be in it. And so we opted out. And that is why there were, I'm sure, a lot of different rumors of why we did what we did. But we did that because we could not consciously say, yes, we need to be in the ESD without the information or the answers to the questions that we asked.
Okay, so backing up just a little bit, in ESD, that's the Emergency Services District, and that's a district that provides ambulance and EMS services to Bastrop County specifically, right?
Correct. Yes.
So they contract with Acadian, which is an ambulance service, and they
Mhm.
have ambulances that are available to the entire county.
Right.
There's how many? Like five full-time ambulances, right?
At the moment, there are 5 full-time. Yes.
Okay, and then two, they call them on-call services or peak load ambulances, and that just means that they're available for 12 hours. Some of them are available during a day shift, the other one's available during a night shift, and they just kind of travel all over the county, right? Whenever an
Right.
ambulance is needed.
That's correct.
Okay. So the city of Elgin, if so right now we have an agreement with
Mhm.
ESD number 3 to provide those services to us. Because
That's right.
otherwise, what would happen for the city of Elgin?
Well, we wouldn't have an ambulance service, and we know we can't go without that. And so we have 2 options: to become a part of the ESD, or we contract with a company on our own, which of course is way out of our budget and being able to do that. So we are making efforts now to become a part of the ESD because now our questions have been answered. We know what's going on. We know how it's about to be. They have their commissioners in place. Everything is in place for them now, and it's not going in blind. And so we
Right.
know exactly what they're in. We've been having meetings with them almost every other week. And so we feel comfortable now that we know exactly what we're asking our residents to do and where we're going to put it to ensure that we have adequate ambulance services.
Great. Now, one of the questions that was outstanding last year that we were having a hard time understanding was, the city of Elgin's the only city in the entire Bastrop County that's actually a part of another county. We have a little section of Elgin, and our extraterritorial jurisdiction, or our ETJ, is also in Travis County. So
Correct.
that makes things a little bit more complicated, doesn't it?
It does. And that was one of the real things that we had a problem with. Happens to our residents that live in Elgin, but they're still in Travis County? And so we have an interlocal agreement with the ESD3 to make for sure that they are covered. And if we moving forward with the petition that we're going to be talking about shortly, they will be included in that as well. So now we know that we have all of our residents covered, and those who live in the ETJ that are even not in Bastrop County, but are in Travis County. So we make sure that all of our residents are covered.
Great. So right now, as it stands, we have this interlocal agreement, and it goes through next year, and that we're paying a lot of money for for that contract. It's worth it because we need that ambulance service here in the city. But that
Yeah.
money is coming from taxpayers out of our overall budget, right?
Correct. It's out of our general fund. And people are saying, I know one question will be if we had a went on before, if we had opted in before, would we be paying less money? And we figured out all the costs, and no, it would not have been. It's just that now we have to come up with the part, and we're only paying part because we're coming in November, in November, provided everybody votes for it, we will be coming in at that point in time. So we're only paying for when we've been involved.
Okay.
So it's not we are paying extra because we didn't go in and vote at that time when we had the chance to the first time around. So we
Okay.
have not put our residents, in a worse spot. We're actually, when you look at the numbers, yes, it is a large number, but healthcare and ambulance services and everything it is a large number. We knew we were going to have to pay for it. That's all it is. We have to pay for it. So yes.
Sure. So right now that money is coming out of our general fund. We have
Mhm.
this contract in place, so nobody worry, you do have ambulance service.
Correct.
What we want to do is become a part of the ESD because what that means is that we, as well as the rest of Bastrop County, are all contributing towards this organization, which is governed, by the way, they're appointed commissioners, and
Mhm.
those commissioners are there's five of them, and they meet
Right.
as a board, and they have to approve everything that goes forward. But the power of being a part of a bigger entity like that is that you have access to more than you would with just a single city. Um,
Correct.
and we all share the costs of that as well. We're all
Correct.
contributing to the cost of those ambulances through through a tax
Mm-hmm.
assessment on
Right.
property values. So let's talk about what this will entail. So to have to be a part of the ESD, we
Mhm.
have to vote for it.
Right.
To vote for it, we have to have an election called, and that
Right.
election has to be called by the ESD themselves, right?
Correct. That is correct. And
Okay.
so now we're trying to fast track because we found out that now we need to have a petition that has a minimum of 50 uh, property owners and who are registered to vote. So there's two criteria here for the person who can sign the petition. They have to be a registered voter and they have to be a property owner.
Right.
So that is really, really important that everybody understands that we have to get those specific people on this petition in order for it to go through and be valid. It has to be validated by the ESD.
Okay.
And for them to go forth and say, yes, we have enough petitioners to have this on the ballot in order to call for the vote.
Okay. And so the reason that we're doing this special edition of our podcast instead of just waiting till next month to do this is that those signatures need to be received by the ESD no later than July 3rd, right?
This is right. And that's because they need to have time to validate whose name is on the petition and that they are who they say they are and that they do own the property and that they are registered to vote. So that puts that on the ESD. And then the ESD has until August 13th in order to get all that done and have it into the elections office in order to be able to call the vote. So we
Okay.
are on a strict timeline and we can't fudge anywhere.
Sure, it's very important that we follow the rules because this is an important issue, and it's certainly going to be important for all of Elgin residents.
Yes,
So if we get if 50 property owners who are voters in Elgin come forward and sign this petition, and the board votes to go ahead and do this, they'll call for an election in November. Now that election's going to have two parts, right?
right.
So
Parts.
Elgin residents will have one thing on their ballot, and the rest of Bastrop County will have something else. Can you tell us about that?
So what's going to happen is that the Elgin residents themselves will have to vote to say, yes, we want to be a part of the ESD. So that's one thing that will be on there. The next thing will be for them, even because they are a member of Bastrop County, there'll be two things on their ballot. they'll be saying that, yes, we want to become a part of the ESD. And then they'll also be agreeing as being a member of Bastrop County as well. So Bastrop County, which means Bastrop and Smithville will have to vote to allow Elgin to come in. So it would be at their best interest that they would, because, sharing 3 as opposed to 2 would be better for them financially. So hopefully everyone will come out and vote for us to become members of the ESD. But again, remember, there's a 2-part to that, and both of them have to meet to say yes, because if they're not, then it won't pass. So we don't have enough to go and say, yes, we do, then it won't pass. If for whatever reason, Bastrop County voters may say, no, we don't want them in, then it wouldn't pass, even if we said we wanted to get into it. So there's 2 parts to that, and it's very important to get out to vote to make for sure that you go and vote for both each of those pieces if you're in Elgin, so that we can get that done and become members of the ESD.
All right. So as we get closer to November, if this is on the ballot, we'll be talking more about why that's important and how it will affect you as a taxpayer and as a property owner in the city of Elgin. But before that happens, we have to get it on the ballot.
That's
And to
right.
do that, to do that, residents in the city of Elgin who are property owners and
Mhm.
voters
Mhm.
they're already a registered voter, they need to sign that petition. So that petition is going to be, where is that going to be, Mayor?
So one main stop place will be at Dorothy's Jewelry.
Okay.
There'll be a petition there. We have several community people who will be going around that they know people who are property owners and voters, and they'll be asking to sign. There will also be, I'm hoping it's a little late, but Saturday is Western Days. And so we're going to try to be very out there and going, but from person to person to see, if they qualify to sign the petition and get them to sign it. So we're going to see people around that are going to have the petition that you can sign. And it will be it will have a stamp on there with the city, knowing that it is city and that this is real. It's not a
Okay.
boat petition. It'll be coming from the real people that we've designated to go out with the petitions. And we'll put that on our social media platform and everything, so they'll know if somebody is on there, are they real, or are they just doing something that they're not supposed to be doing. When it's the actual petition, because that has to come from me to the ESD. And so
Okay.
no other way that you can get this in. So I have to be responsible as the mayor of the city to get that to the ESD and then have them validate and all of that. So it can't be done willy-nilly. We're doing this as a process to make for sure that it's done correct and that we don't make any mistakes and not be able to get it on the ballot in November.
Okay, so that's important. So watch for that. If you're interested in signing the petition, you can go over to Dorothy's Jewelry and sign the petition today, right now. We will put more information in the notes for this podcast about how you can learn more about it. But let's give people sort of a recap. So with the annexation into ESD number 3, Elgin residents will have access to 5 24-hour ambulances, 2 12-hour ambulances, and then 24/7 access to a critical care paramedic supervisor who's going to be able to respond to calls and provide advanced clinical care.
Correct.
And that will be paid for by up to 10 cents per $100 of property valuation.
Mhm.
If there is no annexation, if this doesn't make it onto the ballot, and or if it does make it on and people don't vote for it, the city of Elgin will have a decreased service level, will have decreased quality of care, and we'll have to enter into another interlocal agreement, which is very expensive with ESD number 3, or find another service of our own. Either way, that's going to impact city services. So it's really to the benefit of our residents to be active in this process and sign that petition if you want to be a part of ESD3 and have that access to those really critical emergency services. And then come November, it'll be really important for you to vote.
Right. That is correct.
All right. Is there anything we left out that we need residents to know about, Mayor?
That's it right now. The most important thing is us getting those 50 And I'm saying more than 50 because you
Yeah.
know what happens. So it's real important that those who are property owners and are registered to vote step up and want to sign the petition. And I'm sure that, if we have about 10 people who are going to be going around trying to get enough petitioners to sign. So hopefully that will take care of that and we'll have that going. That's my biggest worry right now is to make sure we get those 50 petitioners that are valid. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk to us about this. And all of you, thank you for your participation. Look for those ballots at Dorothy's Jewelry and this weekend at Western Days, and put your name on the list if you're a property owner and a voter in the city of Elgin and you're interested in being a part of ESD number 3 and having access to those wonderful ambulance services and EMS services that are so critical in times of an emergency.
Thank you.
Thank you.